Look at this hoverfly. Yellow and black bands, tapered abdomen, hovering with that particular, slightly menacing stillness. Every visual signal your brain is reading right now is telling you, wasp, sting risk, back away. It has no sting. It has never had a sting. It cannot hurt you at all. But it has spent roughly 40 million years perfecting the visual argument that it can, and it works, because the bird that might eat it backs off, and the hoverfly lives long enough to pass the lie to its children. Evolution did not build this by accident. It built it deliberately over millions of generations, because deception is cheaper than a weapon, and nature has been running that calculation since before we existed. Everything you think of as identity in the natural world, color, shape, sound, smell, behavior, is a signal. And every signal that exists is a target. If something works well enough to change the behavior of another organism, evolution will eventually produce a species that copies it without earning it. Mimicry is not one trick. It is a category of biological strategy with at least a dozen documented subtypes, each exploiting a different receiver, a different signal, and a different relationship between the deceiver and the deceived. Some mimics are harmless, pretending to be dangerous. Some are dangerous, pretending to be harmless. Some are dangerous, pretending to be even more dangerous. And one type, the strangest, is a species that is so lethal it cannot teach predators to avoid it. So it mimics something less dangerous instead, just so the lesson can be learned without everyone dying in the process. Bayesian mimicry. The hoverfly is the textbook case. A harmless species copies the warning signals of a dangerous one. The model is genuine. The wasp truly stings. The coral snake truly kills. The monarch butterfly truly tastes terrible. The mimic contributes nothing except the appearance. It is freeloading on a reputation it did not earn, protected by a threat it cannot deliver. The system only holds as long as the mimic stays rare. If hoverflies outnumber wasps, birds eventually encounter enough harmless ones to start testing the pattern again. Bayesian mimicry is frequency dependent. Too many liars devalue the currency. Mullerian mimicry. The opposite logic. Two genuinely dangerous species converge on the same warning signal, not to deceive, but to share the cost of education. If wasps and bees both wear yellow and black, a predator that learns the lesson from a wasp sting will also avoid the bee. Both species benefit. Both species lose fewer individuals, teaching predators what to avoid. It is the one form of mimicry that is honest. The signal accurately represents the threat, and it is the one form that scales. The more species join a Mullerian ring, the stronger and more rapidly learned the warning becomes. Monarch and viceroy butterflies, long thought to be Bayesian, are actually Mullerian. Both are toxic. Both benefit from the convergence. Aggressive mimicry. The predator does the mimicking. The anglerfish dangles a bioluminescent lure that mimics the movement of small prey. The prey comes to investigate, and the prey dies. The zone-tailed hawk flies mixed in with harmless turkey vultures. Prey on the ground ignores what looks like one more vulture until it is too late. The drongo bird of southern Africa mimics the alarm calls of meerkats and other species, causing them to drop food and flee from a threat that does not exist, then swoops in to steal what they left behind. Aggressive mimicry inverts the protective logic entirely. Rather than avoiding being eaten, the mimic ensures it does the eating. Bayesian mimicry, the strangest subtype and the one that took decades to accept. A deadly species mimics a less dangerous one. This seems backwards until you consider the predator's perspective. If you eat something lethal, you die, and you cannot learn from the experience. If you eat something moderately unpleasant, you survive and learn to avoid the warning pattern. The coral snake, genuinely deadly, mimics the false coral snake, which is only moderately venomous. Predators encounter the moderately venomous version, survive, learn the red, yellow, black pattern, and then avoid the deadly coral snake by association. The most dangerous animal in the system is hiding behind the reputation of something less dangerous than itself, because the lesson can only be taught by the species that does not kill the teacher. The math says mimicry should break down the moment the mimic becomes too common. Frequency-dependent selection is the mechanism that keeps Batesian mimicry honest. Too many harmless mimics dilute the predator's learned aversion, and the system collapses. It is a self-correcting constraint built into biology, and yet some mimicry complexes have remained stable for tens of millions of years, with mimic populations large enough to suggest the frequency limit should have been crossed long ago. Here is the detail that does not resolve cleanly. Some Batesian mimics have evolved polymorphism, multiple distinct visual forms within the same species, each mimicking a different model. The female of the swallowtail butterfly Papilio dardanus exists in more than a dozen forms across Africa, each mimicking a different toxic species in its local range. One genome, one species, 12 different lies, each precisely calibrated to the local predator's learned experience. The male unaccountably mimics nothing. It is brightly coloured and distinctive, and researchers are still debating why the pressure that shaped the female into a dozen deceivers left the male entirely untouched. Automimicry is mimicry within a species. The monarch butterfly stores toxins from milkweed, but not uniformly. The concentration varies by individual, with some monarchs essentially non-toxic. Non-toxic monarchs benefit from the learned aversion that toxic monarchs have trained into predators. The model and the mimic are the same species. One population is freeloading on the investment of another population. This breaks the framework in an important direction. Mimicry does not require two species. It does not even require a distinction between model and mimic at the species level. It only requires a signal, a receiver whose behavior that signal influences, and a variant that copies the signal without paying the cost of producing what the signal advertises. Every type of mimicry on this list is running the same underlying calculation. Signals are cheaper to copy than to earn. The hoverfly cannot sting, but it does not need to sting. It only needs the predator to believe it might. The coral snake cannot teach, but it does not need to teach. It only needs the false coral snake to teach on its behalf. The drongo does not need food. It only needs the meerkat to believe there is a reason to flee. None of these animals understands what they are doing. The hoverfly does not know it looks like a wasp. The coral snake has no awareness of the mimicry ring it belongs to. They are running genetic programs shaped over millions of generations by the simple arithmetic of who survived and who did not. But if mimicry is the default outcome of any system where signals influence behavior and variation is heritable, how many of the signals you respond to every day are running the same calculation on you? Because Batesian mimicry works on birds. Malarian mimicry works on mammals. Aggressive mimicry works on meerkats. And automimicry works within species. The receiver does not need to be a predator. It only needs to be a system that responds to signals. And the mimic only needs the response to be worth copying. The hoverfly has been doing this for 40 million years. It has never needed to update the strategy. The strategy works.